Most people destroy their car without ever touching it wrong. No crash, no accident, nothing dramatic. They just skip a handful of checks that take less than 5 minutes, and over a few years, those tiny shortcuts turn into $5,000 repair bills. The wild part is that almost every major mechanical failure you've ever heard about, a blown engine, a seized transmission, a warped brake rotor, started as a small warning sign that got ignored. And stick around until the end, because there's one habit most drivers have never even heard of that can genuinely add years onto a car's life, and it costs absolutely nothing to do. Before we get into it, if you actually want your car to outlive your car payment, do me a quick favor. Hit like on this video, subscribe if you're new here, and drop a comment with the make, model, and current mileage of your car. I read these, and it's honestly fascinating to see how far some of these vehicles have gone. All right, let's get into it. Start with the oil, because it's the single biggest factor in how long your engine survives. Oil isn't just there to make things slippery, it's carrying heat away from your engine and trapping the metal particles and grime that build up every time it runs. Pop the hood, pull the dipstick, wipe it clean, dip it back in, and look at where the oil sits between the two marks. Do this once a month. Most modern cars want an oil change somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 miles, but that number swings a lot depending on the oil type and how you drive, so the manual is the real answer, not a sticker on your windshield. If the oil looks gritty, smells burnt, or the level keeps dropping between changes, that's your engine telling you it's running dry on protection. Ignore it long enough, and you're not looking at an oil change anymore, you're looking at a full engine rebuild. And that's a repair that can easily cost more than the car is worth. Now here's a myth worth busting right away. A lot of people still believe you need to change your oil every 3,000 miles no matter what. That advice is decades old and was built for engines and oils that don't exist anymore. Following it isn't dangerous, but it is throwing money away. Trust the manual, not the myth. Coolant works alongside oil, except instead of protecting the engine internally, it's regulating temperature so things don't melt or crack under heat. Check the coolant reservoir when the engine is cold, never when it's hot, since a hot system is pressurized and can genuinely burn you. You want the level sitting between the low and full lines. If you notice sweet-smelling steam, a rising temperature gauge, or coolant puddles under the car, that's a leak or a failing component, and driving on low coolant for even a short trip can warp a cylinder head. That single mistake can turn a $40 coolant top-up into a $2,000 repair. Tires are next, and this is one area where a 5-minute check genuinely prevents accidents, not just expensive bills. Pressure matters more than people think, because the right pressure isn't just about ride comfort. It changes how your tires wear, how your car handles, and even your fuel economy. Check it monthly with a simple gauge while the tires are cold, and compare it to the number on the sticker inside your driver's door, never the number printed on the tire itself. Tread depth matters just as much. Slide a coin into the grooves, and if you can see too much of it, your tires have lost their grip, especially in rain. If you feel a vibration through the steering wheel or notice your car pulling to one side, that's often a sign of alignment issues, which left unchecked will eat through a brand new set of tires in months instead of years. Rotating your tires every 5,000 to 8,000 miles keeps wear even across all four, which means you're not stuck buying tires twice as often as you should be. Air filters seem boring until you realize your engine is essentially an air pump, and a clogged filter chokes its ability to breathe properly. A dirty filter reduces power, hurts fuel economy, and over time forces the engine to work harder than it needs to. Pull it out every 12,000 miles or so and hold it up to a light. If you can't see light coming through, it's done. Replacing it yourself costs about $20 and takes 5 minutes. Ignoring it doesn't usually destroy your engine outright, but it quietly drains your wallet every time you fill up. Now here's one almost nobody thinks about: the cabin air filter. This isn't protecting your engine, it's protecting you, filtering the air that comes through your vents. A clogged one means weak airflow from your AC and heater, musty smells, and in some cases, allergy symptoms that people blame on everything except their car. Swap it once a year, it's usually behind the glove box, and it's one of the cheapest, easiest fixes on this entire list. Your battery is the silent failure waiting to happen. Most people never think about it until their car won't start on a freezing morning. Check the terminals for a white or greenish crust, that's corrosion, and it interferes with the electrical connection. A quick clean with a wire brush and some baking soda solution handles it. Batteries typically last 3 to 5 years, and if your car struggles to start, your headlights dim at idle, or your dashboard lights flicker, that's your charging system warning you before it leaves you stranded somewhere inconvenient. A dead battery is annoying, but a failing alternator that you ignore can take the battery down with it, turning a cheap fix into a much bigger one. Brakes are non-negotiable, obviously, but most people only think about them when they hear a noise. Brake pads should be inspected roughly every 10,000 miles, sooner if you're someone who drives in heavy traffic constantly. Squealing is usually the wear indicator doing its job, warning you before things get worse. Grinding means the pads are gone and metal is now grinding against your rotors, turning a $100 pad replacement into a $400 rotor replacement. Brake fluid matters too, and it should be flushed every couple of years because it absorbs moisture over time, which lowers its boiling point and can lead to a soft, less responsive pedal exactly when you need it most. Transmission fluid gets ignored constantly because a lot of newer cars don't even have an easy way to check it yourself. But this fluid is what allows your transmission to shift smoothly and stay cool under load. Follow your manufacturer's interval, which varies a lot between vehicles, and pay attention to delayed shifting, jerking between gears, or a burning smell. A failing transmission is one of the most expensive repairs you can face on a regular car, sometimes rivaling the cost of the engine itself. If your car has hydraulic power steering, check that fluid level too. Low fluid often shows up as a whining noise when you turn the wheel, or steering that suddenly feels heavier than usual. Many newer cars use electric power steering instead, so this one depends entirely on what you're driving. But if yours applies, it's worth checking during the same routine as your other fluids. Washer fluid and wiper blades feel minor until you're driving into headlight glare on a rainy night with streaky, useless wipers. Replace blades roughly every 6 to 12 months, sooner if they're leaving streaks or chattering across the glass. It's a $5 part that directly affects how well you can see the road. Suspension and steering components quietly absorb every pothole and rough road you drive over. Worn shocks or struts show up as excessive bouncing, nosediving when you brake, or uneven tire wear. Worn-out bushings or ball joints can cause clunking noises over bumps. These parts degrade slowly, so most people don't notice until handling feels noticeably worse, but ignoring them long enough turns into accelerated tire wear and a much rougher, less safe ride. Belts and hoses are easy to forget because they're hidden, but a cracked serpentine belt or a swollen hose can fail without warning. Visually inspect them during an oil change. Look for cracking, fraying, or soft spots, and if a timing belt is part of your engine's design, follow the replacement interval religiously, because if that one fails while driving, it can cause catastrophic engine damage in seconds. And speaking of warnings, let's talk about dashboard lights, because here's a fact that surprises people. A huge percentage of major repair shop visits start with a warning light that was ignored for weeks or months. That little check engine light isn't being dramatic. It's a sensor detecting something outside of normal range. Sometimes it's minor, sometimes it's not, but the only way to know is to get it scanned. Treating every warning light as background noise is how small $500 fixes become $5,000 engine or emissions repairs. Now, away from the mechanical stuff, washing and waxing your car isn't just about looking good. Road salt, dirt, and grime trap moisture against metal, and that moisture is what starts rust, especially underneath the car where you can't see it. Rinsing the undercarriage during winter months when roads are salted and washing regularly the rest of the year protects the structural parts of your car that are expensive and sometimes impossible to fully repair once rust sets in. How you drive matters just as much as how you maintain. Hard acceleration and aggressive braking wear through brakes, tires, and transmission components far faster than smooth, predictable driving. Excessive idling burns fuel for nothing and can lead to carbon buildup over time. Overloading your car beyond its rated capacity stresses suspension, brakes, and tires simultaneously. None of this means driving like you're scared of the car, it just means driving with a bit of awareness. Following your manufacturer's maintenance schedule sounds obvious, but most people have never actually opened that booklet in their glove box. It tells you exactly when to check or replace everything we've talked about, tailored specifically to your engine and drivetrain, not some generic internet advice. Quality parts matter more than people expect. Cheap aftermarket components can fail faster, fit poorly, or even damage surrounding parts. And fuel grade isn't a suggestion either. Using a lower octane than your engine requires can cause knocking and long-term engine stress, while using premium in a car that